How's everyone doing? The topic of today is going to be how your thoughts transmit and affect the whole entire world. This is definitely going to dive into some deeper things, but I guess it's nice to know. So this is Fizz, and we will be going over this today. Make sure, if you want to, subscribe to my channel. I do have a Christmas tree that I bought behind me. Well, it's actually a pine tree, and it is alive. There is actually dirt right here, which I thought this was pretty unique because I've never seen one like this. But it's a beautiful tree. Pine trees are my favorite trees. I actually just went somewhere where there was a lot of pine trees because all the red and, well, all the other tree types died. And they had, you know, those colored leaves, red and yellow. And it was just really nice. It's really nice to see that. But where I went hiking, they just had pine trees. There was so much green there because there's so many pine trees. But there were also shrubs that were still alive. It's just a very beautiful place. Even the water had algae and it made it look green. The water looked green. Not like a dirty green, but almost. It just was so green. Okay. So your thoughts, they're always going to vibrate to the outside world. Why? Because they're a physical form that we just can't see. I will be making a video probably right after this called Life is Energy, or Your Life is Energy. Whatever sounds catchier. And it may be something else too. So people don't realize this. That's it. I could end the video right there, because that's what you need to know. But I do this for other people. I break it down and explain it a little bit more. Sometimes, though, explaining stuff just takes people off. It depends who's explaining it, because it's hard to really stay on the grip of things. That's a hard thing to do. Only a few people can do that. And so, not only do you transmit these thoughts, they stay there forever until they get washed away, so to speak. Did you ever hear of the Akashic records? A funnier one is Santa. Santa's always watching you. I'm starting to see that the Illuminati, I'm not saying that some of the stuff they do is not necessarily right or wrong. They actually got their stuff, though, from people, spirits, energy that was once or had good intentions. The symbols they use, somebody was saying, mistake me if I'm wrong, is just actually ancient symbols they were using in Africa that they took and distorted. So they gave them, it all depends up again about the intention. So your thoughts, so everything's being pre-recorded because it's stuck in a time travel. We are in a time travel realm. Outside of our realm is a no time zone. Time is only in the mind. If you're actually in the moment and feel the moment, time won't exist. Because that's your true nature. This could happen to you, but it's when you recognize it. Because that some way or another, it happens to most people all the time. Is it happening for a millisecond? You're probably going to miss this one. Or is it happening for 2 minutes? You're probably going to miss this one. It could go on to infinity, because this would be God at the end of the day. If you were sorry, that's ugly writing. Infinity is God, basically. It has to be. And nothing actually creates infinity. Infinity actually equals nothing. And you'll never weigh or measure infinity because it almost doesn't exist. So we are all out here, but we're all in here at the same time. In fact, this is great because we constructed this with our mind. So this is why this world is here, with the mind, the ego. The whole world is here because of this. Now, in the Akashic records, all the no time, that's infinity, is watching all the stars, all the worlds, everything that's going on is being recorded. So some people in the Illuminati, if they throw something over their head, throw a mask on, quote unquote, they think that God's not going to see it, but it's all being recorded. That's just that's trying to negate it and twist it. More importantly, it's all being recorded. It's intertwined in our realm. Did you ever go to a beautiful place and it just felt so serene, so beautiful? That energy, maybe natural energy, maybe someone gave that place energy. It's probably a combination of both. So if you're maybe in a bad neighborhood, let's just say there's a lot of scare or fear. We could also say Hollywood in maybe the news. All three of these places, you go around these facilities, you're going to feel it. It's not a question if you do or don't. It's there. It's present. It's always there until it's, manipulated or transformed, changed. And there's different areas in the world that carry different energy. So we hear about a lot of meditators and a lot about yogis, Buddhas. Well, if you go to where these people once resided in any of history, or maybe now, you can still go there now, but there's still maybe other living people there. They concentrate some of these places with energy. This energy is just going out. No matter, everybody and everything's transmitting energy. This is a very dense realm, but the real realm's very lucid. It just kind of goes through. You don't see this because our body is like a protection. like a veil. Anyway, without no prevail, so I want to talk about anger. If you go into a place where two people just started fighting, and let's just say you showed up to your friend's house, there's going to be a lot of animosity there. You're going to be like, does something go on? And they're going to be like, no. But then that thing in you is going to be like, no, 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 no. Something did just go on. That's intuition. That's the Almighty. That's your guidance helping you. You don't need guides. Some people do, but the ultimate guide, where everything is coming from, is God. There is no middleman. And if there is a middleman, it's everybody. Because everybody is a part of God, more so they are God. It's not an egotistical thing. We can just say they're energy. They're made of the same energy. So your brain is an electric magnetic field. And it's giving off waves all the time. A little too hard, huh? Board's a little flimsy, but maybe it's just because how I'm sitting. I've been wanting to move this bush though, ever since earlier. Your brain, whatever state that you're in, let's just say you're in a fearful state. Your whole environment becomes fearful, or the energy is just transmitting in your reality. There could be a happy person in the same environment, and it could not negate them, or they could negate it. It just doesn't affect them because they're in a different apparency. And what I mean by that is they're literally in a different frequency. So the person that's, I said fearful, it's going all over the place, all over the world. It doesn't end. It's infinite because it's energy. That's the crazy part. And then the crazier part is it's stored. So like a good inspiration of this. Did you ever hear about Goliath? I think it was him, or maybe it was Alexander the Great. There's that sword that's stuck in the rock. And they try to pull it out. You know, when people went to pull out that sword, maybe they were egotistical, like, this is easy. I'm a big dude. That energy, that intention, it's going to be in that area, especially. You know what I mean? And it's going to emit everywhere. And whatever state he or she is in, it's being emitted everywhere. So this is a good time to talk about anger. Because it goes everywhere. That's why when you're around someone angry, you don't really want to be around them. And after you're around depressed people or mopey people at the time, and once you come to realize this, you don't want to be around them anymore. This is stored everywhere around the world. This is your brain. It's just like an electric, it's like a zzz, zzz. You're just giving off these buzzes, pulses, giving off these pulses, because we are electricity. God may very well be electricity. It feels right. All these words, you know. So when you have anger, I grew up around a lot of angry people. It affects, let's just say parents are angry. Let's just say there's a baby in the womb and the parents are fighting all the time. First of all, when that soul dropped down, I can tell you something. When that soul came down, that soul probably picked that life. But then he slowly forgets that life. This is a soul. The soul is now in the stomach, getting all this transmission of the angry parents fighting. I just don't want to, my phone's like close to dying, it didn't charge. Because I need a new wire. The wire I have is loose. And it was charging, but if you tap it just a little bit, it uncharges. And I feel like all the iPhone wires that I've had or been given free have done that. But I did just buy one like 6 months ago to no less than a year. And I felt like that cord didn't even work. So you're a pulse and you're transmitting energy all the time. So your physical state is also your reality. When you feel good, you have happy thoughts, you give off happy vibes. When you're in a negative state necessarily, and that can be whatever you can call it, it's just more so a feeling, but we could say angry. It's just going to be emitted and it's going to be stored in time and space and that's how karma is created, so to speak. Because then you have to undo what you did. And usually anger, sadness is attachment, anger is towards something or someone. So it's egotistical actually. But it's usually it's like going against yourself. So you're hurting yourself. Poisoning, both work, but you don't want to do that. Yeah, and I just hope this clears up for you. If you're ever around an actual joyful person, a happy person, just to clear up the situation, someone else could be in fear, and is the happy person going to feed into it, or are they just still going to be happy? Happy people doesn't mean they're smart. Like, there's a bunch of like this and that. Just because someone's spiritual doesn't mean they're smart. I've seen, and I'm not being egotistical. It just, I'm not no smarter than anybody. But, doesn't matter once you find the God and all supreme. You could still eat junk food. So, in other videos and my upcoming videos, I'll talk about maintaining this energy. And because usually throughout the day or throughout someone's life, you have peaks and valleys of happiness. It's about sustaining. What can you sustain? Everyone can sustain happiness. It's the easiest feeling to sustain. But people are resisting. They're backing away from it. They're conditioned. They're programmed. And I'm just here to break you free of the bubble, of your shell that you grew. And I once too. Have a nice one, everybody. This was a long video. But then again, what is long? When you're in space and time, the no time thing I was talking about in the beginning, there is no space and time. So it feels like nothing's short, nothing's long. You know what I mean? It's kind of like he. It's a joke. That's where manifestation really comes from. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. I appreciate everyone for coming by.